Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dan on Sports. Well, I haven't posted a video in a couple of weeks. I've been feeling under the weather. Didn't have the flu, didn't have COVID, but I had a sore throat, scratchy voice afterwards, a persistent cold. I'm still suffering a bit from the cold. You know the way it is. It's wintertime in the Northeast, although these days it's wintertime everywhere. Even Virginia got socked with snow. But I haven't been posting, and now I'm ready to start posting again, and I thought I'd post about the New York football Giants. The New York football Giants. Because as we get nearer the draft, there are numerous stories that are emerging about the Giants and what they're going to do as far as the quarterback situation is concerned. Remember, the Giants have the third pick in the draft, which is in April, and they've got a quarterback dilemma. Right now, who is the Giants' quarterback? So the stories are emerging that maybe they trade that draft pick, which is the third overall pick, to the L.A. Rams for Matthew Stafford, who is 37 years old. Now, here's the deal. There's really not, when you look at this quarterback class, an outstanding draft for quarterbacks. And even if you look toward next year, there's not an outstanding class. So the Giants could very well make a trade for a Stafford or some veteran quarterback or sign a free agent quarterback, dare I say Sam Darnold, although he's been there, done that as far as New York football is concerned. But they're caught between a rock and a hard place. Why? Well, first of all, you've got the Giant regime going into its fourth season. Brian Daboll, the coach, Joe Schoen, the general manager, they're going into their fourth season. And after a surprising first-year run when they made the playoffs and won a playoff game, beating the Minnesota Vikings, I might add, they collapsed the next year, and this past season was another disaster. 4-13. So if they were to, let's say there was an outstanding quarterback available in the first round, the chances that you're going to have the success that the Washington Commanders had with a first-round pick last year are not that high. So it's going to take some time to develop a quarterback, even a quarterback who's drafted in the first round. And the Giants cannot afford to have any more 4-13 seasons, which they could very well have if they were to draft a quarterback in the first round. So that's their dilemma. They almost need a veteran quarterback who could spark the team to a winning record. Let's say a 9-8 record, or even, dare I say, 10-7, and a chance to make the playoffs. They need a quick turnaround. And the rumors are growing. The stories are out there on social media. In fact, one of the stories trending on X as I put this video together is, will the Giants trade for Matthew Stafford? In fact, here's what Ryan Dunleavy writes, and he is a reporter for the New York Post. He tweets, "Move the Sticks says the Matthew Stafford availability buzz has a lot of NFL personnel departments around the NFL talking on Stafford to the Giants. Quote, you talk about turning around some excitement in that market," meaning the New York market, "and you trot out their week one, and you have Matthew Stafford throwing to Malik Neighbors and Travis Hunter getting some snaps on the offensive side of the ball. Who else knows what they can do with the money they have in free agency? Is Cooper Kupp a part of that? A package deal with him and Stafford? Who knows?" The Giants need to create some buzz, and they need to create some buzz in a hurry. They're very fortunate the Jets flopped as well, because if the Jets had any kind of success with Aaron Rodgers these last two seasons, the Giants would be left in the mud as far as any kind of football interest in New York. That's the situation they would have been in. Absolutely in big-time trouble as far as any kind of interest. So they have to create some buzz. Now, will that buzz mean that they're going to go out and trade for a quarterback or sign a quarterback in free agency? We're about to find out. The NFL season never ends, It just keeps going and going and going. There's more dates. The combine starts next week. Then you're going to have the free agency signing period. You're going to have very some, I should say, some declarations as far as roster availability. The NFL just came out, talked about the salary cap. It could go high as $281 and $0.7 million, somewhere in that vicinity. So the NFL has managed to maintain media coverage 24/7 year-round. Good for them. And right now, from a New York perspective, the focus is on should they trade for Matthew Stafford. And that's the thing, not just any quarterback or signing a free agent quarterback, although those options are available. The big story right now is should the New York Giants trade for Matthew Stafford? That's the big story. So I'm throwing the question out. Should the Giants trade for Matthew Stafford? It's going to be interesting, but all I say is this. I believe they need a veteran quarterback. I believe that the Dabo Shane regime does not have the wiggle room, to go through another rebuilding season next year with a young quarterback at the helm. They could draft a quarterback, even fourth, fifth round, but I say they have to have a veteran quarterback. I'm talking about a good quarterback, a good veteran quarterback. Hey, they've done it before. You look at the history of the Giants, dare I say, Y.A. Tittle. They went out, they traded for Y.A. Tittle, and they had tremendous success in the early 60s. The problem with Tittle is they didn't have anybody to follow up after Tittle retired. So maybe the Giants draft a quarterback, fifth, sixth round. Hey, Brady wasn't a high draft pick, right? Try to develop that quarterback, but in the meantime, maybe use that number 3 pick to get a Matthew Stafford, particularly a Matthew Stafford. Football season never ends. And right now, if the New York Giants want to be a team that has sizzle in the 2025 season, they have got to make that move. And as far as I'm concerned, they have to make that move for Stafford now. That's going to do it for Dan on Sports. Be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. You can do that by going to sportscasterdan.com. Be sure to like this channel. Subscribe to the channel. Give it a like. It really helps as we try to build up the subscriber base. And thanks for your support.